So you should have already enabled your LED display to be false so it will not interfere with any of those pins. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to create a variable for our button. Okay, so I have this variable for my red button. I'm going to bring that out here. And now I need to give it a value. And what I want it to do is I want it to read whether that button is pressed or not. So I need to do what's called a digital read. So we're going to scroll down to our pin functions. We're going to click here, digital read. Put it there. Now remember, my red button is connected to pin 1. So I need to change this. So it's going to read whether or not I have a voltage value on pin 1 or not. Now I want it to actually do something with that value. So I am going to do an if statement. And I essentially want to see whether or not my button has been pushed. So come back here to your logic, bring out a comparison. And I've assigned my red button to be whatever the value is on that pin. So I need to bring out a red button variable. And I'm going to actually leave it right there as red button equals 0. Because when the button is pressed, it will read the pin as a value of 0. When the button is not pressed, it will read the value of the button as 1. So if my red button equals 0, that means my button has been pressed. And if my button is pressed, I want it to do something. I actually want it to turn on my LED. So remember how to turn on an LED. We're going to digital write. So go down to your pin blocks. And remember that our LED is connected to pin 6. And if I want to give it voltage, I am going to make this be a 1 value. So if my button is pressed, that's what red button equals 0 means. If my button is pressed, I'm going to write to my LED. If it is not, I want it to just be off.